It was a quiet Sunday afternoon, just me, my daughter, and the smell of burgers sizzling on the backyard grill. But then, out of nowhere, a fire truck screamed down our street. Neighbors peeked through blinds. HOA Karen stood on the sidewalk, arms folded, smirking. "That grill is a fire hazard," she hissed. But what she didn't know was, I wasn't just a guy with a grill. I was about to turn her plan against her. Hard. The summer sun was golden and warm, and for once, life felt peaceful. After a long week at work, I was finally unwinding with my 10-year-old daughter, Lexi. She was laughing, chasing bubbles across our neatly cut lawn while I grilled burgers in the backyard. We'd moved into the Pinebrook Hills, HOA community, only 6 months ago. Everything seemed ideal. Clean sidewalks, quiet streets, supposedly friendly neighbors. But then there was Karen Schmidt, the self-declared neighborhood watchdog and HOA board member who never smiled unless it was to report someone. And for some reason, I was her favorite target. 3 weeks ago, it was the height of my grass, half an inch too tall apparently. Last week, she complained about Lexi's pink scooter being left on our porch. But today she'd gone nuclear. I was flipping a burger when a fire truck rolled up, lights blazing, sirens piercing. Lexi froze. I dropped the spatula. 2 fire marshals and 3 firefighters stepped out. "Sir, we got a call about an unauthorized open flame and potential fire hazard," one of the marshals said, voice firm but not aggressive. "What?" "This is a standard backyard gas grill," I said, stunned. "It's 6 feet from any structure, and I've got the city's approved outdoor cooking clearance. There's literally nothing illegal here." Karen strutted across her lawn like a villain entering the final act. "Don't lie to them, Mark," she said, fake sweetness dripping from her voice. "He's been ignoring HOA guidelines. I'm just trying to keep the neighborhood safe." The marshal walked around, inspecting my setup. Meanwhile, Lexi clutched my leg. "Daddy, are they taking you away?" "No, sweetheart. They're just checking things," I said, kneeling down to calm her. But my blood was boiling. The marshal came back. "Everything here checks out. You've got proper clearance, a secure grill, fire extinguisher nearby. Frankly, this is safer than most setups I see." Karen's expression cracked for just a second. "But the HOA has rules," she snapped. "He's violating section 12.7b. The fire marshal raised an eyebrow. "Ma'am, I don't work for the HOA. I enforce fire codes, not community politics." Boom. That was the first domino. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. Later that evening, I got a notice taped to my door. A fine, $300. HOA violation, reckless behavior and endangerment due to open flames. I laughed. Then I read the small print. Repeat offense may result in community removal. That laugh died fast. That night, Lexi whispered, "Are we going to have to move again, Daddy?" I promised her no. But inside, I knew the gloves were off. You see, what Karen didn't know is I used to be a fire investigator for the city before switching careers. I'd seen dozens of fire code abuses, and Pinebrook Hills was full of them. So I started taking notes. Every open flame, torch lining Karen's walkway, illegal. Her indoor fireplace, venting improperly, major violation. The community clubhouse grill, yes, the one she bragged about using every summer, right under a wooden overhang with no fire break. I called in a few favors, quietly, legally. The next weekend, Lexi and I sat on our porch, sipping lemonade. Then came the fire trucks. Again, but this time, they weren't coming for me. They stopped outside the HOA clubhouse. Fire marshals walked in. 10 minutes later, they red-tagged the entire facility, shut down due to unsafe cooking setup and multiple fire code violations. Karen showed up mid-inspection, face pale as ash. "What is going on here?" she demanded. One of the marshals, same guy from last time, looked at her and smiled. "Anonymous tip. Turns out your community's been playing with fire for a while." Her mouth opened, closed. No words. But I wasn't done yet. I pulled out my phone, clicked open an email, and walked right up to her. "Karen, just wanted to share. My appeal on that $300 fine? Approved. HOA board's decision overturned by state housing authority. And since the fine was bogus, I'm officially reporting you for harassment. She backed up a step. You're bluffing. Oh, I said, you'll find out soon enough. Karen's smugness vanished the second she realized she was no longer in control. For the first time, the HOA tyrant had stumbled, and I wasn't going to let her recover. Over the next 48 hours, things spiraled. The fire marshal's official report was sent to the city's public safety board, and because Pine Brook Hills was classified as a fire-sensitive zone, any serious violation meant forced review of all related facilities, which meant every HOA-maintained property, clubhouse, pools, community grill pits, had to shut down for inspection. Residents were furious. And guess who they blamed? Not me. Karen. Families who used the clubhouse for birthdays and baby showers? Canceled. Weekly swim classes? Canceled. HOA-sponsored barbecue weekend? Canceled. Karen called an emergency HOA board meeting and tried to throw me under the bus. Again, he's doing this to make me look bad, she shouted in front of 20 residents and 3 other board members. I calmly held up my phone. Actually, I just followed protocol. These are fire codes, not HOA gossip. Then I dropped the real bomb. Also, the fire marshal noticed several unlicensed modifications in your home's gas line system, Karen. You're looking at a potential $5,000 penalty if you don't fix it immediately. She looked like she was about to faint, and it got worse. The other HOA members, especially Thomas and Linda, 2 neighbors who'd always stayed quiet, started speaking up. We've been afraid to challenge Karen, Thomas admitted. But this, she overstepped. And it's not the first time. That meeting turned into a tribunal. Residents brought up years of petty fines, arbitrary rule enforcement, and Karen's bullying. Someone mentioned she had a cousin in the landscaping business who got all the HOA maintenance contracts. Someone else brought up missing budget reports. I just sat there, arms crossed, letting the avalanche bury her. The board voted 3-1 to suspend her role indefinitely pending full investigation. She tried to object, but by then, even her usual allies looked away. Lexi and I watched from our porch as she loaded her car a few days later. Word was she was taking time off. I doubted she'd return. The new HOA president? Linda. First order of business. Removing the bogus grilling rule Karen had pushed through. But there was one more moment I'll never forget. A week later, during our neighborhood's now rescheduled barbecue picnic, organized by Thomas, who brought a killer mac and cheese, Lexi stood beside me as I flipped burgers on the same grill Karen tried to shut down. Fire Marshal stopped by, this time just as a guest. Nice setup, he said, grabbing a plate. Karen's old friends stood around awkwardly, unsure how to approach. Lexi tugged on my shirt. Are we safe now? I smiled, pulled her close. Yes, sweetheart. We're not going anywhere. That's when Linda stepped forward with a grin. Oh, and Mark, when the board found out you used to be a city fire investigator, well, we figured your talents were being wasted. You up for being the new HOA safety consultant? I raised an eyebrow. Officially, she laughed. With a small monthly stipend and all. Grill and protect, right? I nodded. Sounds like justice. Well done. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We post new HOA drama episodes every day. You won't want to miss what's next.